This week, it's all about my favorite topic, gnomes. Gnomes and 3D printing. Can you ever get enough gnomes? I don't think so. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter and Bland Designs, and welcome to my weekly vlog number 367 for July the 8th, 2024. And let's move right into what I've been doing. This has been a busy week. Didn't think it was going to be busy, but it was. So let's just take a look. Okay, I made a bag. Yeah. All right, there's a story behind this bag and the reason I made it, and I'll be telling that story tomorrow on the Idiot Quilter because this did not start out to be a bag. It might be one of those moments when I was basically the Idiot Quilter, but more about that tomorrow. But I'm kind of happy with the way this bag turned out. You can see it can stand up on its own because I used a stabilizer in it. A Decobond kind of a thing, and I hadn't worked with Decobond in a while, and I haven't made a bag in a while, so I'm really kind of happy with the way this turned out, even though it was sort of an accident. But more about that tomorrow on the Idiot Quilter. And I am working on, let me just switch the camera over. I am working on some secret projects, and I cannot reveal those to you yet. One of them involves Stephanie Stitch's retreat. That doesn't happen until next April, so you're not going to be able to find out about that one until after that. And the other thing I'm working on is an in the hoop embroidery piece, which has come from another individual that I'm working in conjunction with. Actually, what I'm doing is I'm testing some blocks that for in the hoop, and I don't know if I can show you any of these yet. I don't think I can because she is developing these for a special event. But once she gives me the go-ahead, I will let you in on that. And again, that'll be something I'll probably talk in a little bit more detail about in tomorrow's episode of the Idiot Quilter, so be sure to tune in. All right, that takes me then to the YouTube channel of the week. Now, when we went down to Georgia last Christmas for Stephanie's retreat there, several of the ladies were talking about this big, huge gas station that has like something like over 20 or more pumps or something at it, but it's more than a gas station. It is a whole store, but it's a huge store. Apparently it's the size of a football field, and they sell everything. And those of you that are in the States living there, you probably know about this place. I'm not sure how many there are of them, but it's called Buc-ees. And I found a YouTube video where some people did a review of Buc-ees, and yeah, definitely a tourist destination, I would say. I think it's kind of tacky, but on the other hand, it's kind of mesmerizing. So anyways, here's what I'm talking about. This week's YouTube video clip is about a place that I have heard about, but I have never been. So that's why I went to this particular video. It's called Buc-ees, and I'm sure if you're in the United States, you have heard of this. They claim to be the world's biggest gas station, but inside they are a store that's immense. I think they said it is as big as a football field, and it has everything you've ever wanted. A lot of Buc-ees merchandise, but there's food, there's toys, there's clothes, there's just about everything. So if you're never heard of it, or if you want to see something that looks like a destination shopping area, then you should check out this video clip called Exploring Buc-ees for the First Time Inside the World's Biggest Gas Station. So if you want to see that video in detail, the link is in the show notes. There is also a link for our Wednesday Sew with Stephanie and Stephen. It's always there, that link. You're always welcome. Everybody's welcome to come for the whole day, part of the day, an hour, whatever. Float your boat and work on some of those projects. So as I said, the Zoom link for that is in the show notes below. There is another Zoom link for another special event that's coming up. And, well, next Sunday, July the 14th, is my birthday. I'm not going to tell you how old I am. Yeah, I'll be 67. I can't believe it. 67. Oh my God, when did that happen? Most days I feel like I'm about 27, but certainly don't look it. But anyways, I digress, as I often do. I've decided I'm having a pop-up sew day. Now, I've been talking about this, so this is no great surprise for anybody that's a regular here, but pop-up sew day, my birthday bash edition, and that will be this coming Saturday, July the 13th. It is a Zoom. The link is below. All are welcome. You don't have to register for this or anything like that. It's a come and go, just like any other pop-up sew day that I have. But there is one exception to that, and that exception is this. It's my birthday, and on birthdays you get presents. Well, I'm giving you a present, maybe, if you're lucky, in on the occasion of my birthday. And I am going to do a random draw, several random draws throughout the day, and lucky winners will receive an Amazon gift certificate. Now, don't get too excited about this. You're not getting hundreds of dollars. Okay, not happening. Merely a token, really. But yeah, so I'm probably going to draw for about 5 Amazon gift certificates throughout the day. I'm still working out the details of how I can make that draw random, and I think I've got some ways to do that, so that's okay. But there is one little hitch to this. Of course there is a hitch. The hitch is, when I do one of the draws, you must be physically and visually present on the Zoom thing. So if you decide to leave the Zoom, and you're not there when I do the draw and your name gets called, I'm sorry, you don't get to win anything. Hey, look, I'm giving you these things. I have to have a little fun, right? Even if it is sadistic. Just the way I am. But anyways, yeah, I will give you a 5-minute countdown warning when each draw is about to start. So in case you had to go potty or something like that, well, you'll know that you got like 5 minutes to get to the can and get back. So yeah, it should be fun. Lots of fun. So come festive, okay, for the occasion. And it's my birthday. I don't want to hear about yours. It's all about me. Yes, it's all about me. Some people have a birthday month. I have like this. Just let me have this, okay? That's all I got. Yeah, cry me a river. Okay, moving on. So you will also find links for my 2 patterns. You will find links for all my friends' YouTube channels. And please, if you have not checked out Stephanie of Stephanie Stitches, Shannon of Slay Arts, Russ of Quilt Meets World, Sean of The Guy Who Sews, and Adam of Adam Sews, please show them some support. They are all very, very good channels. They are all have something to offer all of us all of the time. Become regular subscribers to them, please, because it means a lot to all of us content creators when people, show up on a regular basis or subscribe to our channels, because it makes us feel like what we are doing, and we don't get paid for this, is worthwhile. So stroke our egos a little bit. You will also find a link, as I said, for Buc-ee's video, and you'll find a link for all my past videos that went up this week. Okay, so let's take a look at the weather, shall we? What's the day looking like outside right now? Well, it's 7:36 a.m. Eastern Time, where I live. Look at that sky. That almost looks like it's been painted on there, doesn't it? It's a little, kind of a little overcast, but that sky next to those trees, you could make a picture of that. You really could. But right now it is currently 19 degrees C, so that is about, let's see, you double 19, that's 38, add 30, 68 degrees? Yeah, 68 to 70 degrees. So it's not hot yet, but it's comfortable. And the high today, according to my watch, if I can see it here, only about 25, 26. So, not going to be a terribly hot day, not terribly cold, just pleasant, very pleasant. So yeah, it looks like it's shaping up to be a nice day. And The front step looks a little like it might be a bit dampish, so we might have had a little rain in the night. Not sure about that. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. I slept through it no matter what it was. So yeah, that's how things are shaping up here. So of course, that now takes me to what's pissing me off this week. Well, if you're a Canadian and you live in Ontario, none of this will be news to you. For the rest of the world and the rest of Canada and the United States, we're having some problems right now. It's caused by our government because our government is in a big fight right now with what's called the LCBO, the Liquor Control Board of Ontario, which ironically they own. It is a government agency that sells booze. In Canada, or at least in Ontario, when you come here and you want to buy wine or spirits and beer too, although beer is also looked after by a separate, more private industry, you go to the liquor store, to the LCBO. The LCBOs are beautiful stores. The layouts are gorgeous in them. The help there, the people that work in them are always very friendly, very helpful. If you buy something that you get at home, a bottle of wine, and you don't like it, you can actually bring it back. No questions asked. You just walk in and say, I didn't like it. Leave some in the bottle before you do that, though, really. They don't take empty bottles back, but they'll refund your money or let you pick something else out. It is a very good system here in Ontario and very well controlled. For example, you are told as soon as you walk into the place, you see a sign that says, if you're under 25, make sure you have ID because you could be asked. I mean, I'm always flattered when they ask me for ID. Yeah, that doesn't happen. But you know, it's well controlled. The stores are clean. You know, people complain about the price of booze, but it's booze. You know, yeah, you don't need booze to live. So yeah, it's a luxury item, so you're going to pay. But their prices are whatever the going price is. And they do have sales, not major ones. You might get $1 off a bottle of wine occasionally. You can get points if you have an Air Miles or Aeroplan card or whatever those stupid cards are and everything like that. But generally speaking, well run, clean, good customer service. And the Ontario government wants to eliminate that because the people that work there now, the employees, are on strike. They've never been on strike before. They have threatened strike over the years, but it's never got to the point where they've actually walked off the job and closed down the liquor stores. They have this time. And I don't blame them. What they want is, well, of course, they want more money. They want a fair raise. They want they have a lot, I think 80% of their workforce is made up of basically occasional workers, although they work full-time hours and shifts. But they're not being paid at that level, and they don't have benefits, and that's a biggie here in our country, benefits. But this is how the government's their employer. That's the thing. It's not a private corporation. Keep them all on as occasional help so that they don't have to pay out benefits. That's not right. They had one lady that was interviewed on the news a few days ago who said she's been working for them for 10 years and just 8 months ago she got full-time status. Really, but she was working full-time hours. But whatever the government, how they regulate it, what their rules are, they had her as occasional help. So yeah, that's not fair. And the government will not negotiate with them. In fact, the government went to the government bodies and tried to get, no, they didn't. That was another strike. Sorry. I was going to say they had binding arbitration, but no, they did not. So anyways, they're out in strike. And of course, it's summertime. So, you know, a lot of people were stocking up before because, you know, figured they were going to go out on Friday. So we did that too. And, you know, we've got our booze, so we're fine. But yeah, so what's pissing me off about this? This is just another fine example of our Ontario government under Doug Ford. I like to call him Trump in training. He is trying to privatize everything. Now, I know Americans probably don't get this because they're used to this kind of thing. Because Americans are capitalists with a big C. We are not so much in this country. We are a, in quotation marks, small s, socialistic country. The reason, we have a lot of things that come from our taxes and other sources that support our economy, that support our people who may need support in various ways, and that kind of thing. And I say, yes, that is a good thing. And I know that's very hard for anybody outside of our country who come from countries like the United States, who, everything is about the almighty dollar. They don't understand a socialistic style of government. In fact, a lot of Americans who know very little about it equate it to communism. It is not communism, not even close. Okay? So, anyways, I'm digressing a little away from my topic. But what our Ontario government is trying to do is to sell out things that before were publicly owned by all of us in Ontario to private corporations who are going to raise the prices, lay back, thumbs up, cut jobs in order to make that maximum dollar from it all. And that is not a good thing for us. Also, the LCBO brings in a lot of money, like billions of dollars every year, and that money is rechanneled. That money is going to the government, and it's rechanneled into healthcare, infrastructure like roads, things like that, keeping it up, and other public institutions. So, when you buy a bottle of wine, you're supporting your province, in a sense. Now, a few years ago, the government decided that it would allow limited allowance of this, allow wine and beer to be sold in grocery stores if they wanted to, but they had to apply. And fine. So the big superstore chains, there they go, they're making money from that, are selling wine and beer. The selection is not as good as the liquor store. But, if you're in buying yourself some hamburgers for the barbecue, and you need a bottle of wine or some beer, it's convenient. All right. That is something relatively new for our province. We're not used to that. There are other provinces in Canada that have that already. Quebec is one of them. And I know in the States, that's pretty much common practice. But here in Ontario, this is something new. Well, they want to extend that now to allowing them to sell spirits. Before it was just wine and beer, spirits, and extend it to convenience stores. Now, there is danger. Okay? One of the things about the LCBOs is they are very secure. Somebody coming in and trying to rip off or rob the liquor store will have to think twice because of the way their security works. But in a small little convenience store on a back street somewhere, or even attached to a gas station, that's a recipe for disaster. I already mentioned the fact that you could be asked for ID if you're under 25. The drinking age in Ontario is 19, but they will ask for ID if you look like you're under 25. Well, kids are going to go into convenience stores, and depending on how the convenience store is operated, they may be able to pick up a six-pack or a couple of bottles of beer or wine, or a bottle of vodka, or pre-mixed cocktails, because they were going to put those in there too, and get out with it. So that just creates a lot of problems. Plus, convenience stores are easier to rob than the liquor store. So this is opening up a whole can of worms. And the profit that these stores are making is not going back into our infrastructure. It's going into their own pockets of the corporations that own, or the store owners that own those places. It is so flawed, this plan. And that's really what the LCBO employees, their union, is fighting. And that's the other part. The government wants to turn around and break the union, because it's a conservative government. That's the name of the party, and that's what they do best. They protect the interests of the 1% and they try to decimate unions for everybody else. Yeah. So this is a bad situation, and I fully support the LCBO workers that are on strike. Now, in my title for today's vlog, it also says, it said booze, health, and education, because also that's another thing that is supported by some of the dollars that go to the LCBO is our education system. And our education system right now is sucking majorly. And it's all because the Ontario government and their cutbacks are not putting in the funding. If you're going to educate kids, it's going to cost money. Okay? That is a given. But then if that is a given, why does our government keep making cutbacks in education? People don't want to go into the teaching profession anymore because of the way they're treated as teachers, because it's a fight for, a fair wage and the whole bit, and working conditions, not cram 40 kids into a classroom with one teacher. Physically, these buildings aren't equipped to do that, and neither is a teacher. You're causing burnout. This government has already caused doctor burnout, nurse burnout, healthcare worker burnout, PSA worker burnout. Now it's education workers burnout. That's all they do is they just burn, burn, burn. So we want to burn them. But we're Canadians, and what Canadians do is we just show our disappointment with the government by voting for somebody else, but it's just replacing one a-hole with another a-hole. Anyways, that's what I'm pissed off at this week. Hopefully, as I said, I hope the LCBO workers win this battle, because that will be a lesson and a message sent to the Ontario government. Don't screw with us. But they're too stupid to get that. Okay, moving on. New products. I don't have anything new to show you. Haven't bought anything in a while. Amazon's calling. They're going, excuse me, you haven't ordered anything. Actually, they do. It comes in through my Alexa. And Alexa will come up every now and then with a notification go, hi, Stephen. It may be time for you to order such and such based on your previous order history. Would you like me to put it in your basket? No, I would not. But clever, isn't it? That's AI for you. Yeah, thinking ahead, helping me out, helping me spend my money. I don't need any help with that. I can spend it all on my own. But having said that, and of course I mentioned my birthday, so Walter says to me, what do you want for your birthday? And I say, nothing. I don't know. There isn't anything that I desperately want. If there was, I would have bought it already, or I'm planning to buy it. There isn't. I have the same problem when his birthday comes up, too. I ask him the same question. What do you want for your birthday? I don't know. Don't get me anything. So, if you have suggestions for Walter as to what he can buy me for my birthday within reason, don't be saying, a brand new house that I can use just as my sewing studio or something like that. But if you got ideas or suggestions, send them to my email address, which is in the show notes, and I'll pass them on to Walter. Maybe. I don't know. It doesn't hurt. Okay. So, what's happening with our gardens situation? Well, here's out on the deck. You can see our lettuce is doing very, very well in heads. So there's a whole bunch of that, and we've been eating it. We've been harvesting it and eating it, and it does grow back up to a certain extent as well. Making sure it doesn't bolt, which means start flowers, because if it gets flowers, it goes bitter. So I've been pulling those off. Walter's been pulling those off. And I thought you'd like to see these. We don't know what these are. Well, we know what they are. They're tomatoes, but they're called midnight tomatoes. And they're taking a long time to get any size. And these ones are really hard at the moment. So we're leaving them on the vine. We don't know what they're going to come up to. We've got more flowers, so where there's flowers, there will be tomatoes. And there's some green ones on here, haven't turned black yet. I don't know if they get much bigger than this, but we know just by feeling them that they're not ripe enough to eat. I mean, and they're black or very deep, dark purple, so you can't really tell when they'll be ripe. You've got to do some research on those. And then here's all of our other tomatoes coming along. There's one that's getting a bit red, but things are looking quite nice. And cucumbers. We have cucumbers. There's at least 2 on here. Walter said there were 3, but I can't find the third one. But we have more flowers. And of course, yes, I know. Cucumbers are a vine. They should be, laying out, creeping across your garden. We're going vertical. It's an experiment, but it's coming along nicely. Now we want to watch them to see what happens to them, because they say that if they start to go yellow, that you want to pick them and use them then, because if they start turning yellow, they're not going to be any good. There's another one there on the side, kind of rude. Yeah. Moving on. Now we have these. Now this is it's a hot pepper. I don't think it's a jalapeno. I'm not sure. I'll have to check with Walter. He planted some of these in, and there's a few coming on here. Got a little clover in there. We probably should weed. And under the grow lights, we have some more lettuce. We haven't really planted a lot of things yet under the grow lights, but we probably should. We have a whole grow light. This is what I call grow light number 2. Grow light number 1 is off. There's nothing under it at the moment. I'd like to get some herbs in it and some more lettuce, because we eat a lot of salads these days, so more lettuce is a good thing. And out in grow light number 3, this little jungle, okay, these sad looking plants right here, although they've perked up a little bit, those are radishes. Again, it is another experiment. Of course, these are onions. And the onions, we've got onions outside as well. Walter transplanted some. He's just going to see what's going to happen with these when they're in the pot. They're probably a little overcrowded and probably should be thinned out more. But anyways, yeah, it's fun doing this kind of thing. It really is. Okay, so that takes me to, let's turn the page. Can I print that 3D effing thing? Well, this week I'm showing you my gnomes collection, because I just found a new gnome that I thought was really cute, and I printed it in one of my newer filaments that's multicolored kind of a thing, and I made a little video clip showing my gnomes.
I will admit I have a problem when it comes to gnomes. I'm obsessed with making 3D printed gnomes. I have to stop. I have made probably 75 to 100 different gnomes, and this is just a small sample of the different things that I've made, and I've given them out to people at different events and to family members, whatever. If I can find a gnome and I can stick it to something, I will. So I'll give you an example. Of course, you have your cute little gnome figurines, as you can see here. This one, this very intricate one, is my latest one. He has a little welcome sign in his hand. And then the gnomes also come in various sizes and designs as well, and I alter the sizes of them through the slicer software. I have made them into pin cushions, as you can see here. Made a lot of those and gave them out at one of the retreats I attended. You can make them into Christmas ornaments. Now, I did play with the idea of printing a bunch of these and making a Christmas tree that was all covered in gnome ornaments. And that's not to say I won't do that yet in different colors. That could be really a lot of fun. I've done, as I said, pin cushions, but I've done various types of pin cushions. This is a contemplative gnome, I suppose, doing a little yoga type of pin cushion. And this one is a pin cushion, contemplative gnome, and a little tray for your clips and things. I've made gnome jars as well. This has a twist-off lid. I've made big gnomes in various colors. I've made a gnome, I don't know what this is, but could be a gnome. I think I made it originally to be a flower pot. I haven't used it as such because I think it leaks, which is a possibility, but little cup for holding pens or sewing supplies or whatever. I have made gnome bookends. And these do work. They need to be weighted down a little bit more, but yep, kind of fun. You see the gnomes on the front. And I've made practical gnomes as well, gnomes that you can use to hold things or whatever. This one is a combination pen holder with a gnome, and it can hold a sticky pad as well. It could even help hold your cell phone. And I did that by just combining various models together, merging them in the slicer. In fact, that's how a lot of these were made. They were just merged into the slicer. I took two different models and then put them together. I've made a lot of gnomes. I've made gnome seam rippers as well. You name it. I always come up with something for doing gnomes. Yes, I am obsessed with gnomes. I got to get over that. But anyways, I thought you'd like to see the whole point of this little clip here is to show that you can take a couple of models that you have, and you can, just in your slicer software, you don't have to use AutoCAD or anything like that, and you can merge them together to create something new. And that's how a lot of these, the pin cushions, the flower pot, the jar, the pen holder, sticky note holder, all of those were made by just taking two basic or three models and just merging them together in the slicer program. So you can, even if you don't know how to program in AutoCAD, which I don't know how to do, you can still make some very interesting things just by combining models.
So that takes me to an old video back in my early days of doing YouTube. This comes from 2013, and it's about rubber stamp storage. And I explain how I store and keep track of my rubber stamps, because I used to have a lot of rubber stamps because I used to make cards. I was a scrapbooker, all that kind of thing. So here's a little short video from 2013.
Okay, I thought I'd like to show you how I came up with a method for storing my rubber stamps and being able to locate them. And of course, like everybody else, I've got all kinds of rubber stamps, both on cling and wood mounted. And so what I decided to do, you could number them, I suppose, put them in drawers with the numbers on them. I kind of did that with my punches at one time, and you want to know something? They never stay in order anyways. So I thought, well, what else can I do? Now, I'd seen that people had taken the cling ones and they had put them on a piece of acetate, just a overhead transparency kind of thing, and put them in a file folder. But I wanted to know how I could have ready access to all of my stamps, find them without having to leaf through pages and pages in a binder or going through a whole bunch of drawers looking for my wood-mounted stamps. So what I came up with was this method. I have a recipe box here, a card recipe box, and inside with your standard index cards. What I did was, on these cards, I stamped images from each of my rubber stamps, and I labeled them according to a category. So for example, I have some pulled out here. These are flower stamps, and what I did was I just stamped as many as I could get on a card, and I labeled it. And I simply labeled this one Flowers 1. Now this corresponds to the sheet, the acetate sheet, that has those images on it. So here's the sheet. And you can see up here it says Flowers 1. And this is just an overhead transparency. I put a little colored piece of cardstock in behind so it'll show up on the video. And these are all my flower stamps. Actually, I have more than one page. They don't all fit on one page that I have. So if you notice, I called this Flowers 1, same with the card, but I have another card in there that also says Flowers 1, and it has more of the designs that are on this sheet until this sheet fills up. So I might have 3 or 4 cards all labeled Flowers 1. I didn't bother to number each stamp because I think it's pretty obvious that I can find them. If I can go to Flowers 1 sheet, I'm sure I can find that image on the corresponding sheet. Now, what about the case, though, with those stamps that are already pre-mounted on wood? Well, they sit in a bunch of drawers that I have for rubber stamps. So what I did with that is I stamped them on the index card, and I labeled it the same as I labeled this first one, except whatever stage I got into, like how many cards up, I just continued the numbering. So this is flowers 5, so card number 5 in the index file under flowers. But in brackets I put MS, and that stands for mounted stamp. That way I know I don't go to the acetate sheet, I go to the drawer and find my stamp in there. Now, it's a very simplistic method, but I find what it does is it saves me time. It also allows me the opportunity to go through and, you have a tendency to forget what you have if you have a lot of stamps. So by having the images on the cards and in different categories, I can go through and find, my background stamps, and I know where they're located. Or I can see also what they're going to look like when they're actually stamped onto an actual project. The other thing that I did was, with all of these cards that I have in this file, I took the cards, I put them on my scanner, and I scanned them. And then I simply printed out pages showing these cards on them. You can get, depending on how small you go with the scan, you can get 5 or 6 of these cards on one sheet that you print out. And I have a little inventory book that I take with me every time I go hunting for supplies. I have a tendency to forget what I've bought in the past, and that has cost me some money and some waste of time as well, because I ended up with duplicates. In some cases, I actually ended up with 3 of the same thing, because there were maybe months or in some cases years between when I bought an item and when I found it again, and I'd forgot that I had it. So I keep everything in a little booklet. And I would show you the booklet right now, the actual one, except that I've just put in some more stuff in it that has to do with crackle paint and its drawing. But it's just one of these kind of little notebooks. I tab the pages with those sticky tabs you can get, label them whatever's on the page, and I list as I go along what supplies I have bought. So in that book, I took the pages that I scanned from here, and I folded them in half and glued them into the booklet. So when I go shopping for rubber stamps, if I'm not sure if I have that particular one that I see, I go into my book, I'll look through my pages that I've scanned, and I don't end up spending a lot of money on something I already own. So that's how I do my rubber stamp organization. There's probably other methods out there that are better than this, but this one seems to work for me, so I thought I'd share it with you.
So this takes me to events in the past week. So we were off on July the 1st going to a little town east of us, 45 minutes east of us, called Cobourg. A little bit more about that, why we went there that day. But as we got into the car to go, we had a little visit from a little friend. And I'll show you what I mean.
Okay, so we were just heading out and we got in the car and this bird thinks he's going with us. He just hopped right on the car. He's just sitting here. He'll probably fly away as soon as Walter starts the car.
Well, the car is started, but it's because it's...
Well, the car's so quiet, the bird doesn't even know it's going. Look at this thing.
Okay, what's going on?
The bird sabotaged the car. Shouldn't you have it in park?
It is in park, but I can't get it off.
Turn your car off.
Oh, because I don't have my thing shut off because I didn't do the thing, beep beep.
Oh. Meanwhile, the bird's just sitting here. So bird, like what? You hitching a ride? Can't you fly? Wings are tired? What? Walter's still trying to figure out how to start the car. Meanwhile, the bird doesn't care. Just sitting here, looking around. Should fly off in a minute now. Okay, we're moving, bird. You're not going anywhere. What's with this bird? Oh, finally.
Yeah.
So as you saw in that little video clip, that little birdie took off, but not before he left a little prezi on Walter's car, which pissed Walter off. And then off to Cobourg we went. Now, on the long weekend in Canada, July 1st weekend, Canada Day, the local Kiwanis, I think it's the Kiwanis, it might be Rotary Club, they have a vendors market, artisans in there. And, you know, they're making everything from jewelry, clothing, to, you know, plaques, paintings, fudge, nuts, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so we like to go down there and check it out. Now, they used to have an admission price, but this year it was by donation. So we donated, and in we went. And we checked it all out. So I took a short little video of that whole thing, and I'm going to put that in here right now. Okay, so it's Canada Day, and we're in Cobourg, down on the waterfront, and they have this market every year where there's lots of, you know, artisans and things like that. A lot of jewelry we always find. A little bit of everything, I guess. So we're going to wander through here and see what we see. Shortbread Company, $12 a jar.
If it's open, then it's, no, then it's too, yeah, I know, you don't want that.
Yeah, I don't think. Oh, did you? What do we got here? Pies?
Hi, I'm doing good.
Oh, look, infinity squares. Ooh. Why? Yes. Yep. No, I think it's considerably smaller. Oh, there's
all diabetic and
This is pretty much a disappointment this year. There's nothing here.
Their place is going up for sale.
I guess, must be. Maybe that's why they're only just taking donations at the door too before. There you go, you want a bag? I know. Yours are better than those. Yours are better. Those are pretty plain Jane. Sauces? What, soap? Sauces? Okay, so we've been through, yeah, it is the Rotary Club. So we've just been through there, the market, and we're walking along here. They have sort of a midway, I think, down that end, and food vendors and things here as well. Oh, that's a quaint little place. So this is the main beach down back in there. They have a kids area and things like that. That's here all year round, of course. Food trucks. over there. Everybody and their dog here. Get your deep fried Mars bars right there. Yeah. No.
Fish and chips sauce.
Fish and chips, hot fries, fresh cut fries, fish and chips, poutine, sausage, onion rings. All Canadian favorites.
Oh, get your murder weapons here. Don't have guns in Canada, but we have knives.
Maybe they didn't want to go under the tent.
Oh, maybe.
Sumo slice.
Sumo. Ooh, as seen on TV. But we don't have any sumos to slice. Can you get those as an extra? Want some sunglasses? Okay, so this year they seem to have a lot more up in this section away from where the Kiwanis or the Rotary Club are, which is interesting. That's why there wasn't so much down there. It's all up here. Maybe the Rotary Club was charging too much for a booth. More sauces.
There's two different sections.
It's
One is called color change, and one is called erasure. We've always said
So we've done the thing, the midway, the vendors and stuff. Now we're sort of heading towards the central part of downtown Cobourg. It's a quaint little community. I once lived here when I was 4 years old till I was about 6 years old. I started school in Cobourg, but we didn't stay here for too many years. We moved into another smaller little place north of here called Norwood. So we have stopped for lunch, and we're being good boys. We're having salad with garlic bread and some beer. And this is called the Cat and the Fiddle, or as I like to call it, Cat and the Piddle. And we've not been here before. We've been by it before, but it's a little off the main downtown, off the beaten track. It's a pubby place. It's quaint kind of a thing. So our beer has arrived, and of course I'm drinking Guinness, and Walter is drinking Smithwick's. Where is Walter? He is not in his chair. He's just gone to the washroom. Maybe too much information right now. So yeah, we only bought cookies. I don't think I had that on the video, but there's this company, Sprucewood, I think it is, shortbread company. They make these great little shortbread cookies in about 10 different flavors, and they're small, they're expensive, but they're good. And so we bought some of those as well. We usually do. I wanted to buy 6 boxes because it was a better deal. We only bought 3 because Walter, we're on this diet thing, his pre-diabetic diet. I'm on it too, although I'm not being quite as careful as Walter, and I should be. I've actually lost a little weight. I don't know how much. I'm afraid to get on the scales because I have not been on the scales in probably 6 years, and I know that, yeah. But anyways, I probably should one of these days get on there and be shocked, and that'll keep me on this diet. Actually, this diet's pretty easy to follow. Well, you got to read a lot, on the sides of the packages and that, but that's why we're eating a lot of salads, and we're watching other things. We're also watching quantities, and I have to say that I think my stomach has shrunk a little bit because I can't eat as much as I did before, and that's not a bad thing because, getting up there in years, right? It's my birthday. But yeah, so we only bought 3 boxes, and they don't have many in a box to start with, so I just have a couple of little cookies every now and then, and that's it. And they're only like the size of a quarter, really. Okay, so what else went on this week? Well, we went to a concert. And we talked about a little bit about this on Stephen and Walter Live. But our great nieces are right into music. They play a variety of instruments with their father. They play guitars. And don't ask me what the kind. I mean, there's a bass guitar, there's another kind of guitar, and another kind of guitar. Guitar. Yeah. And here's a picture of my oldest great niece. This is now this is Brooke. This is the younger one. Walter said to me it was the older one. Yeah, this is Brooke. Brooke is the youngest, and she plays the bass guitar as well. She's just taken up the flute, and she's pretty good. She only started lessons in April for the flute, and she's doing really well. And she's going into grade 6 in September. And this is her sister. Okay, who's wearing the Pokemon? I had to figure them out. They look so much alike. When I took these pictures, and they got a musical instrument in their face. This is Brooke, and this is Brooke playing guitar, and this is Brooke playing the bass, and her father behind her playing whatever, filling guitar or something. And this is Claire. She's the older one. She's going into grade 8, and she is really good on the guitar as well. They're both very, very talented young ladies, and I'm sure they're going to do wonderful things as maybe go into music. I don't know, or maybe not. But anyways, it was fun. We were there, and I made a few little of my dragons on the 3D printer. They were absolutely fascinated with those. Apparently, they had just been playing or saw Dungeons and Dragons and were into dragons. And I gave them both a quilt as well. So, yeah, that was nice. It was a nice afternoon. We sat there, had a glass of wine. Their parents ordered some pizza. We held back. I only had 2 pieces of pizza. Usually, I would have had 2 boxes of pizza. So, yeah. But, this diet thing. So, that was nice. Now, I didn't do any video because I would have violated copyright here on YouTube to show it to you. So that's why you only got still pictures. Sorry, you couldn't hear them playing. And they played the old classic, and they play a lot of tunes from the 70s and the 60s and things like that. Probably because their father's old. Old, yeah, I'm old enough to be his father, so, or more. And then we had our gutters cleaned out. And I'm talking about the kind that are on your house. Okay. Long overdue. Our gutters are full. We're having a little problem. You know, it rains and it pours out of the eaves troughs. And Walter's gone up and taken a peek in them, but I don't want him up on a ladder. I don't want to be a widow. So we found somebody who could come, we could hire, who was very reasonable, did an excellent job. He's kind of a general handyman. He was recommended by a company Walter called that said they didn't really clean out gutters, but they could recommend somebody, and they recommended this guy, and he was very, very good. And so that is one thing off the list of things that need to be done around this house, because you know when you have a house, there's always something you need to do. So, yeah, exciting week, right? Concerts, birds crapping on cars, markets, and gutter clean out. We're living the life. Okay, so that brings me to the end of this episode of what is this? Bland Designs. Yeah. What's coming up, as you know, my birthday bash, Saturday. So the link for it is in the show notes, and those of you on the mailing list will be, after I finish this up, it'll be sent out to you today, Monday, with all the information. So hope to see many of you at my birthday bash. That'll be great. And we did mention this yesterday on Stephen and Walter Live, but don't feel when the invitation comes to you from the mailing list that you need to respond. You don't have to respond to that. I mean, you don't have to tell me, oh, I'm sorry, I can't come because I've got this, and that. Life happens. That's okay. All right. It's there for you if you wish or can. There's no obligation. Okay. And you don't need to waste your time writing me, an excuse note, because I don't ask for that. I don't need it. It's okay. It was nice of you that you did that, but really, don't worry about it. It's okay. All right. I hope you have a great week. Hope to see some of you on Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen on Wednesday. Oh, one thing I forgot. Yes, I forgot this. There is a special event coming up this week, middle of the week, Wednesday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. On Russ's channel, Quilt Meets World, we have our monthly The Sewcial Review. And we're talking about our love-hate relationship with sewing machines. So that's with Stephanie of Stephanie Stitches, Shannon of Slay Arts, Russ of Quilt Meets World, and Walter and myself from the Idiot Quilter. So I hope you can join us, because it is a YouTube live. So hope to see you then too. And of course for the pop-up sew day. So have a great week. We'll see you all later. Bye for now.